need.
Islam is a way of life, a complete way. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete.
Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, never ads, always free. Support and share, and get guided with Guide Us TV. Guide Us TV. And we're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. And we have a special guest tonight. Let's bring him out right now. And here's Abu Hamza.
MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Do you remember Johnny Carson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Mr. McEstes over here.
Okay, we expect a monologue now.
All right. You heard the news? New Hampshire, New England, New Mexico, New Brunswick,
Yeah.
That's
a funny thing happened to me on the way to the forum tonight.
That's old Carson.
Yeah.
Penny Youngkin stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff. Good stuff. One-liners, mashallah.
On a serious note, do you know what?
That'd be a first.
We have a serious note here. And, and I'm taking this from the book that I've been reading right along, Don't Be Sad. And it says, the inborn disposition upon which we were born. The inborn disposition upon that which we were born. Okay.
Run-on sentence, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he has four lines of sentence, one period. And anyway, when the wind blows violently and the thunder roars, darkness permeates the sky. Man's inherent need turn to Allah for help awakes from its slumber. So all of us are basically in between being awake and being asleep. When we are fully awake, we're really paying attention to what's in front of us. Oh my God. I think I'll just... And then we fall back into that incoherent state. We're not asleep, but we're not fully awake. Anyway, then comes a stormy wind, and the waves come to them from all sides. They think they are encircled therein. They invoke Allah, making their faith pure for Him own. MashaAllah. And that's from the Quran. That's a translation from. Then comes the stormy wind, and the waves come to them from all sides. They think they are encircled therein. They invoke Allah, making their faith pure for Him alone. But then, except Muslim invoking their Lord in times of ease and prosperity, as well in times of hardship, difficult. Most of us, even marginal Muslims, will say, oh, I pray, whenever some difficulty or when some impoverished move overcomes you, you say, "Oh, Allah, Allah, take this away or give me more," whatever. However, most people at the times we're talking about, they really don't get what they're talking, what they're doing. They don't really function fully at that time because they are half asleep. Now, when Ibn Taymiyyah encountered one of the scholars of Islam, one of the big scholars of Islam, and he said he was talking to some deviant sect of Islam. I'm not going to say which one it was, but anyway, they said that their miracles don't work when they get around the mainstream Muslim. And they said when we are around the Tartars, then their miracles work. Why is that? Okay. And he said, "Do you know why?" They said, "We don't know." Then he said, "The example of you and the Tartars and us is we are white horses. You are spotted horses. And then the Tartars are the black horses. When a spotted one enters upon a throng of black, means that you're with those black horses, he appears to be white. And when he enters upon a crowd of white, he appears to be black. Because of black and white spots. That's what he's talking about. Now you have some remnants of light. And when you mix with the people of darkness, that light becomes more visible. But when you come to us, the people of the Sunnah, you have the greater light, and then you appear to be dark. And that is all that's left of you. And this is the example of you, the Tartars, and us. And then there's a quote from the Quran saying, "And for those whose faces become white, they will be in Allah's mercy, paradise. Therein they shall dwell forever." What do you think about that one?
No, mashallah. I hadn't heard that story before, but I mean, it does make sense to a person, who thinks deeply. It would make sense.
I never heard anything like that before, comparing white horses, black horses, and then spotted horses. I never heard of that. But keep in mind, the Tartars, the Mongolians, they always had horses. They had horses all around them. And in this particular fight they were having, it extended for several years, by the way. And yes, that was all horseback. So maybe that's why he mentioned the horses. I don't know.
Sure, but it's an interesting reference, mashallah. Mashallah. And of course, on Judgment Day, when the people's faces will be radiant and bright because of the remembrance of Allah, then that's the the faces will be brightened on that day. Then there'll be faces that'll be downcast and darkened. And those are the ones that ignored Allah in this life, and they will be ignored in the next one. Allah save us from being amongst that group of people, because we really want our faces to be radiant and bright on a day when there will be no shade except the shade of Allah.
Well, now he's going from horses to houses.
Okay. I'm all in. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go from horses to houses.
He's saying a student from a Muslim country went to London to study. He boarded with a British family in order to enhance his language and his skills. Okay. He was true to his religious principles, got up for the morning Salah, Fajr, and he made his ablution, which is the thing that we call wudu. He would go to his place of Salat, prostrate for his Lord, glorify him, praise him. Then an elderly woman of the house noticed that she was a keen observer. She noticed his habits, and she finally asked, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, my religion orders me to do this." He says, "Couldn't you delay saying this prayer until you get your complete rest?" He said, "But my Lord does not accept from me my prayer if I delay it until it's within that fixed period. If I delay it out of that period, then he won't accept it." She shook her head and exclaimed, "A will that shatters steel." What does that mean? Then the quote from the Quran: "Men who neither trade nor sell diverts them from neither trade nor sale." You had to pronounce it right. "Diverts them from the remembrance of Allah, nor from performing their salat." And I would encourage everybody that's listening to me right now, do not leave out any of your salawat. Always do your salat. Even if it's late and you said, "Oh, I'm going to miss it," what's the difference? Oh, it will make a lot of difference. Even if you wake up and the sun is already up, go ahead and do your prayer, because Allah can accept that. He can, because you were asleep. And if you by chance miss a prayer during the day and you said, "Oh my gosh, oh, I already missed it," well, then do it when you find it, when you find out. And you say, "Well, I can't pray it now because the other one is due." Well, pray the other one. Pray the one that's due, and then pray the other one after that. And you say, "Well, no, I can't do that because there's no prayer after Asr." And that's true. That is true, except there are exceptions. If there is some need to do a salat after that, you can. As a matter of fact, this is a part of Islam, that if you find out that you need to do a prayer, don't ever use that excuse, "Oh, well, I missed it." Do it, inshallah. Your comments?
Yeah, this is a connection that one needs with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the salah. One of the first things that was taught to me when I entered Islam, maybe not necessarily the first, I think the first was the oneness of Allah, but soon after that was the importance of salah and the importance of making salah a priority. Like, the people can have these excuses that, that they missed it, or they slept, or they're this or that, or they're, if you're too busy to make salah, then you're too busy. Like, really, if you're too busy to make salah, then you're too busy. So this connection with Allah and these relationship with Allah should be maintained. And if that's not being maintained, then ask yourself why. Like, you yourself, ask yourself, why not? Why is this not a priority to me? Why is it that I will jump backwards over burning barbed wire from my boss, but I won't take a little time out from my Lord? I worry about getting fired, but I don't worry about the fire. Salah is very, very important, Sheikh. It's one of the last things that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned to us before he died was as-salat, as-salat, as-salat. It's a thing that on Judgment Day, if it's good, everything else will be good. Everything else. Imagine if your salah is good, everything else will be good. So let's try to make that a pressing issue and of high importance in our lives ourselves, because really it's something in these days and times of fitna and different trials and different tribulations and different, as they say in Arabic, fitan, then the salah puts everything back into perspective and everything back into focus again.
Ah, we've got a caller. Let's take the caller right now. Salam alaikum, Habib.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
MashaAllah. This is Habib LeBlanc, and he is in Canada. MashaAllah. I'll show you everybody on the screen there. That is Habib, also known as Jaime in Spanish. You know that's how you pronounce? Did you know that's how you pronounce your name in Spanish?
No, I did not know that.
Jaime. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those topics that a lot of people, especially even with Christians, because with Christians they don't have a set time for prayer. But a lot of times Christians only pray, like say on Sunday, the rest of the week they sort of ignore their prayer. And even with Muslims, there are, like you say, there are some Muslims that, oh, well, I missed a prayer, it's gone. Instead of realizing, oh, well, you can combine your prayers, salahs, and you can actually, get caught up later on if you need to. Something's really happening in your life that, you. And still, even if you're driving, even if you're in a car and you're a passenger, it would be nice to be pointed towards Mecca, but if you're traveling like this, you still can perform salah as long as you have wudu.
Actually, you have a good point there. A lot of good points that you made just in that one little blurb of conversation. Number one, it is critical that we do keep up with our salawat. That's the plural of salat. Anyway, so if we do that, then it is up to Allah to accept or reject what we did. If we're sincere in our heart and really try to do the salah on time, that's the best thing. However, if you're traveling, you already have that the benefit of combining and shortening your prayers. Qasr wa jama'. Qasr is shortening it, and then jama' is putting them together. So you do have that advantage. Now, it comes in right after the noon time, and then it goes up until the time of the Asr goes out. So you have all of that time to put those two together, and you shorten them so you only pray 2 rak'ahs for Dhuhr and 2 rak'ahs for Asr. And the same is true about the night prayers. If you're traveling and you're going a distance, a far distance, not just down to the grocery store or something like that, but if you're traveling a distance, a substantial distance, then you can combine the Maghrib and the Isha together. Now, you can do that at the time of the Maghrib or the time of the Isha. Now, Isha time is all the way up until midnight. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Aye, good.
So, so I do have another question, because I notice with some places, like some mosques, and they'll do it more for convenience in summertime. That the time of Salah, they will put it early, and I still haven't figured that one out.
What time were they doing it?
They're doing it like it's supposed to be at a set time, but they actually put it like an hour or a half hour earlier for convenience purposes, because it's too late for them to perform Salah.
Okay, are you talking about the Isha Salah?
Yeah.
Okay, what time do they normally do that?
Well, in the winter time, because like this time of the year, it gets dark around 5 o'clock. So when you're looking at times for Salah, it's much earlier in the evening. But in the summertime, it gets darker much later.
Okay.
So when you're looking at the last prayer,
Is it wait a minute, this is not about the clock. You know that, right?
No.
Is it
that's what I can't figure out.
Is it total?
It's not about
Yeah, whenever you pray in the Maghrib Salah, has the sun already set? The sun is gone, but you could still see light, right?
Yes.
All right. And then is this total darkness, black darkness, what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. What's the problem?
Well, see, they'll like, if it's supposed to be at a certain time, they'll pray earlier.
No. There's no certain time, because the Prophet ﷺ didn't use clocks or watches or cell phones or anything like that.
Right.
The angel, let's review that. The angel Gabriel
let's
comes
take
2
a
days.
better look at this and understand this.
Okay. The angel Gabriel came to the Prophet ﷺ twice, 2 days. The first day, he told him, stand and pray. And that it was at the time when a shadow was just starting to go for the afternoon. You know, it was a little bit of a shadow. Okay? And then he said, stand and pray again. And they stood up and prayed. And that would be when the shadow was as long as the thing is. Let's say you had a 1 foot stick in the ground, and then you measured it out and see that it's 1 foot. All right? You get what I'm saying? So that is the time that they prayed the Asr. And also that the time of the Asr, well, wait a minute. I got to jump up to, I'm talking about when Jibril came. So when they prayed the Maghrib prayer, the sun had already set, but there was still some light, all right? And then when it was totally dark, he said, stand and pray again, and they prayed the 4 rak'ah for Isha. Then they prayed the morning prayer. I think that's how it was. Anyway, so they prayed the morning prayer when it was the first little crack of dawn. That they call it the crack of dawn, and then it almost looks like it's going to be light, and then it has a hesitation in it, and then it gets light. So at that crack of dawn, then they prayed. Now, the next day, the angel told the Prophet ﷺ to stand and pray for the Dhuhr prayer, the noon prayer, at the time that they had done the day before, that they had done the Asr prayer. So the item, the shadow of the item would have been at the length of that. So that tells us, number one, that we can pray or do the Salah from the time the shadow starts to be formed until it's the length of the object. All right? That is the noon prayer or Dhuhr. Then the angel stood and told the Prophet ﷺ to pray, and that was when the distance was twice as long as the object. All right? So that is the time of the Asr. From the time the object has one shadow length and then to the two shadow length, or now that's what I'm talking about, this there is something that if it's an emergency or the Prophet ﷺ, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so then the Maghrib prayer, they did it at the same time, about the same time, so there was no difference. Maghrib is at sunset. Then the angel told the Prophet ﷺ to stand and pray way, way dark. They were maybe an hour or a couple hours from Maghrib time. So, but they didn't go by hours. So you know that was a distance. So this is giving us wait a minute. And then they did the morning prayer again, which was the almost daylight. The sun was going to come up within maybe 15 minutes or something like that. So they stood and they prayed, and they could already see things that were out there in front of them, because the sun had not risen, but it was coming up. You know what I mean? So that is the window for the for the Fajr prayer, and that is also the window. Now we know when not to do the Dhuhr prayer, and then the Asr prayer, the distance for that, and Maghrib, same time, and then Isha. So that is exactly the rulings from the Hadith. However, one time the Prophet came in, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to his own home. His door opened into the masjid, okay? So he didn't walk far. He went in after Asr. So there's no prayer after Asr, right?
Right.
Okay. So he goes into his house and he does 4 rak'ah. No, 2 rak'ah. He did 2 rak'ah. And his wife says to him, "Is this a new prayer?" He said, "No, but I had some people that he was giving dawah to, and they interrupted everything, and he was talking with them, and he said, I missed the sunnah after Dhuhr. There is a sunnah after Dhuhr of 2 rak'ahs, and he was busy with them until the time of Asr. And then he prayed Asr Salat, which is the late afternoon Salat. And then he went and privately, he did those 2 rak'ah for his sunnah, because he regularly did that. Now, if you regularly do something and you're not able to do it, and then you want to make it up as soon as you can, that is the excuse. You can rely on that. However, if you just said, oh, I want to do some salat like the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, but you're not really doing the sunnah, because his sunnah was always doing it, and then he missed it. So then he did it after the Asr Salat. And he did it in private. So he didn't advertise it.
Right.
Okay? So that is the timings. So if the people put a clock, let's say they're saying 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then in the summertime they turn it back and say 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Even if they're not playing with the clocks like we do here in the States, most of the states play with the clocks, throwing them back an hour and up an hour and so on. However, if somebody does that and they're not changing the times, so why did they do that? Well, because it is permissible to go all the way up to the when it first comes in. Maybe in the wintertime they do it when it's about to go out. I don't know, but maybe that's you could ask them though. Maybe.
I suppose I could.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, and I still wasn't introduced to the brother that's your guest.
Oh, okay. I'll put him on now. Salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. This is a fellow Canadian, and he's, well, tell him where you are.
I'm in just outside of Toronto, but I'm from Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay. But I was talking to
You didn't answer.
James.
I answered.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Oh, okay. MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
Where did you grow up, Abu Hafsa? Where did you grow
I grew
up?
up in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
do you
MashaAllah.
still travel down to Nova Scotia, or?
I just came back from there about a month ago. I was there for a little while, and inshallah I'll be heading back at some point. But I do go back and forth.
Oh, okay. Which masjid do you go to when you're in Halifax?
Omar usually.
Okay, because the one I go to is the one in Dartmouth. I can never remember the name of it. That's the one I go to.
That's the first one. That's I'm not sure the name, but it's just called Dartmouth Masjid. MashaAllah.
Yeah, but well, the Imam has been there for like 25 years.
Yeah, I remember I remember when he first got there, around the time I was leaving.
All right. My arm is getting tired holding the phone. Anyway.
And I think it's almost time to take a break too.
Oh, yes, it is. Thank you for that. You were experienced.
MashaAllah.
All right, we'll take this break and be right back right after this. So stay tuned and stay guided with
Guidus TV.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
Guide Us التلفزيونية الفضائية.
The programs and the channel are all dedicated to true faith, what it is, why we need it, how we use it in today's world, in simple English, 24 hours a day, right here on Guidus TV. This is Yusuf Estes for Guidus TV, bidding you peace. Salam. Salam alaikum.
ووظف الشيخ يوسف التكنولوجيا في عمله الدعوي من خلال المواقع الإلكترونية، مستخدما اللغة الإنجليزية بشكل مبسط وممتع لضمان سهولة فهمها من قبل الحضور، بالإضافة إلى استشهاده بالقرآن والتعاليم الإسلامية خلال حديثه.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Yusuf Estes with really good news. But first, many people are hearing things about Islam, but they are not getting the right message. So the best time to get the right message out is right now. And we have the best way to do exactly that with Allah's support and your help. We've got our projects, our websites, satellite TV channels, and now we can reach every home on the planet, inshallah. And we are back, mashallah. We have a caller on the line. Tell everybody what your name is, caller.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Ray. I'm calling from Chicago. I'm originally Jordanian.
Mashallah. We're going to be in Chicago the week after Christmas. Did you know that?
Oh.
Yeah. We are intending to be there for the conference. There's a big conference there. Did you know about that?
Yeah. Right?
Yes. They didn't have me as a speaker yet because we just decided to do that. We are going to be in Houston tomorrow, Houston, Texas, for the Mass ICNA. And then we're going to be going up to Chicago right after that. So, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, we'll probably be going. Yeah, I'm probably going to land on Monday after, I think that's the day after Christmas. Yeah. So we'll probably fly up there out of, we don't have the tickets yet, so we're waiting on that. So, and I hope they get them, because if they don't get the tickets, then we're not coming. I just have to come back to it. Well, we arrive there. We'll arrive there, and then we get set up. And I think probably we'll have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday meeting, conference on that, because the day after Christmas is so cheap. Maybe it's the day of Christmas it's so cheap. Nobody wants to go anywhere. All right. MashaAllah. That's great.
Oh, sure. And I'm ready. I'm ready. I left the house. I host you my house to be my guest if you want.
I don't know if they want me up there bad enough to pay for the the ticket or not, but we're finding out as I'm traveling tomorrow to Houston, and then when I land, I'll find out, because they're going to have a meeting about that. So whether or not.
You have my, right? You have my.
Yes, I do.
Come to Chicago. We will arrange everything, inshallah.
Barakallah fikum. That's nice.
Of course.
Wonderful.
We love you, Shafi. Love you. All the Arab or Muslim society here in Chicago, they love you.
Let me take there's a sister calling in again. Let me take that call. I have your number. Okay? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. We were just talking with the brother in Chicago on the phone, and we have Abu Hafsa with us. MashaAllah. Go ahead.
Great. I have a couple of questions and some suggestions. Because you said like by midnight, Aisha is the night, not night, rather Aisha is by 12 o'clock you have to do it. But in the summer and winter is different. So as far as Dr. Naik, that I saw his show, he said like a part of third night, like by probably 10:50 or 10:30 at winter when it's like getting super dark. So that time it's done. So only in the summer when the night is long, midnight is last one that you separate. So that's one of the things that I just want you. And that
If you have one opinion already, stick with that, because we don't do shopping for for the fatwa. So
no, it's not that opinion. But I just want to know that your opinion. Like I just like.
No, the hadith is clear. Yeah, the hadith is clear. There is nothing in the Quran to indicate what the times are. However, the Quran tells us to take our Prophet ﷺ as our guide and our the one to show us what Islam is all about. So that's how we know that it's 5 times a day, and the angel Jibril comes to the Prophet ﷺ and he describes the prayers by telling him, stand and pray, and they do the Salah at these times, and that's how we know the width or breadth of the time that we can do the Salah, inshallah. So the Prophet ﷺ, in a hadith, a good hadith, he tells the companions about standing and praying, and he tells them, if I thought you could handle it, I would delay it even more. And the scholars of Islam ruled that the maximum you could go to is the middle of the night, because after that is supposed to be anything you do is called the nafl, or voluntary prayer. Voluntary. Yeah, tahajjud. You already know that. So.
Yeah. No, my point is that since like it is like winter time and summertime and light is different, so it makes more sense by 10:15 or 10:30 the Aisha is like thing is done. So I just 1/3 of the night, like daytime light, that's just like you have, the Aisha is like done. By that time, you have to just, when it's like dark, you have to just pray it, before like certain hours. And another thing that you mentioned that, Gabriel was, came, and you told me the detail of like, came to Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that over there, like at Saudi Arabia, there was like, most of the time it was like sunny and like desert and thing. But the people that the time the watch was not like, or the clock was not in that time, and they went by the shadow.
Okay. Yes, we do that, sister. There is a hadith about the Prophet ﷺ saying to his companions, there will come a time when a day is like 40 days, and a night is like 40 nights. And they asked him about the salat, and they said, what do we do? Just do one salat for, the Fajr, Bohr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha one time? And he said, no, you go by the times of the closest place that has regular times. And then when I was in Tromsø, Norway, in the summertime, the sun did not set for 40 days exactly 40 days. And in the wintertime, it doesn't come up for 40 days, exactly 40 days. So they rely on that hadith, even though it's almost up at the North Pole, Tromsø, Norway. And that is where we were, and we had a wonderful time up there. And it was by their the times when the people in Mecca prayed, and that is one opinion. And then the other one is when another place in Norway that had irregular times. What was it? Not Oslo. Maybe something like that. Anyway, they had, huh?
Alaska?
No, not Alaska. Alaska, no. We were talking about being in Norway. You can't, you have to go in a straight line. You don't, you have to go south straight just to find somebody that has regular times. They have darkness and light and so on. So some of them, they choose.
How do you do that? How do you do that in like Norway? Like I just
told you.
You don't have a clock.
No, you don't need a clock.
I'm not aware of that.
We have clocks today. But
yeah, I know.
There were no Muslims up there at that time. There were no Muslims in in the extreme parts of the world.
Right, but my question is like for instance, like I go there and like I don't have my cell phone with me, I don't have the clock or somewhere.
No, you go to the people, you go to the Muslims there, you go to the Muslims there and ask them what time is this salat.
My question is, brother, like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's not Muslims there around me, no masjid, I'm just like it's somewhere I just go for a walk or something that I just nobody around. So this time for Salah, so how I would know that I would just go ahead and there's my prayer time. This is the thing that at that situation, my question is what?
Ask the people.
Do my prayer.
Yeah, ask the people there. They'll tell you that we went there and we stayed there for a week or 10 days. I don't remember which. It's been a while. Anyway, when we went there, the first thing we did was go into the masjid and ask them about what was the prayer times, and they gave us a prayer list.
Okay.
And you will know because people there, they know when it's Friday or Saturday or Sunday. The people there, they keep up with that.
Okay, brother, when you're gonna come to in Chicago? You said you're coming like the day after Christmas on 26th, inshallah.
What is Christmas Day? Is it Sunday or Monday?
25.
I know
What
that.
day?
I know that. I'm asking you what day it is, not the date. What day is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I can look at it.
All right.
I can look at it. Give me a second.
I think it's Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah, because I just looked up, and today is the 18th,
Monday.
and you add 7 to the 18th, and it'll be Monday. So that is the cheapest day to fly, and that's what we're trying to get. So I'll be there on Monday if I come.
Maybe a conference that everybody joins. Like it's gonna be like a big conference, or just like, are you not? Like it's
We're waiting for them.
Get ticket ahead of time and get it. Like I just want to come, inshallah.
Well, okay. So the idea is, if they need me, then I'll come. So if they want me to come, they'll. It's only a one-way ticket from Houston to Chicago, and then I'll get the way over to New Jersey. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah. If
So
either I'm gonna fly from.
Will you let us know?
Well, I'm sure as soon as they let me know. I would.
Okay, then just announce it. I would like to come to Chicago. Chicago is close. Well, not that close. I come and saw that, so yeah.
Where are you now?
So down.
Oh, in Minnesota. Oh, I visited there so many times. This is the first year they didn't have me.
Yeah, the problem is that I didn't know. Otherwise, I would just come and. That's okay. I've been in other. Like I know that this one time that my friends that was years ago that you. Oh, okay, I missed it. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Inshallah, you come again. Well,
I would love to. I love Minnesota. I love the Muslims up there. I have so much fun every time I go. There's always a surprise.
Yeah, Minnesota, like there's a lot of good people like live over here, like good Muslims. You know, good
I met good people there that are not Muslims, but they were willing to listen to what we were saying about Islam, and they were so kind and nice. I think that is the nicest people in the United States.
But just be careful with the fake one, though.
Alhamdulillah.
Because there's some over here, like, so then people, they're a little bit fake.
Well, okay.
But most of them,
Well,
they're pretty good, inshallah.
Say salams to our brother Abu Hafsa.
Wa alaikum. Assalam. Yeah, assalamu alaikum. Nice to talk to you.
Jazakallah khair. Alaykum salam.
By the way, Abu Hafsa, are you going to join us for anything?
That was up to you guys, Sheikh. I'm ready to come. If I'm ready to get there, I can get there, inshallah.
I'll put in a good word for you, inshallah. I would love to see you guys, and maybe you could, if I get invited up to Minnesota again, maybe you could join us there. How about that idea?
Yeah.
Sure, I've been
Well,
to Minneapolis.
give me a little bit, like ahead, and on the Facebook, or you have my message as well, then I can, I would love to bring a bunch of people, because a lot of people love you.
And I love them too, as well. MashaAllah. Well, we're running out of time.
Great trip, Texas, and Chicago, inshallah. Keep you on your.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
That's nice to talk to both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. MashaAllah.
Allah Hafiz.
MashaAllah. That was really sweet.
yeah, mashallah. A lot of callers today. This was busy. Monday night callers.
Yeah, that's right. We had 3 phone calls tonight.
That's
Yay!
It's a lot for us. It's a lot for us, mashallah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's shall we continue with what we had? I don't think so, because we only got about 5 minutes. Let's open it up for phone calls. And what is your opinion about the Salah at night?
Yeah, mashallah. I mean, there's a lot of leeway. Allah has really given us a lot of leeway. Right? Traveling, you can join them, like you said, combine them. Allah has made the Salah incredibly easy for us, even if we are busy, and even if there's a time when you might miss one. Allah is forgiving and merciful. But my advice to myself and my brothers and my sisters is basically, let's make this a priority, and let's find reasons to do it and not excuses to not do it. Like, it's a connection between us and Allah, who has been providing for us and who will continue to provide for us until we meet Him. And praying your Salah on time and in its proper conditions, when you can, as much as you can, is a good way to ensure that your meeting with Allah will be a good one. You're going to be away from here a lot longer than you're going to be here, in that you're going to be dead a lot longer than you're alive. And I'm not trying to make that sound negative. You can definitely turn that into a positive by getting right with the one who will be with you during those times with His knowledge. And the best way to do that is the Salah. It's not hard. It's something that, if you plan your life around it, you'll see the benefits. See the benefits of your life almost immediately, inshallah ta'ala. The Salah is something that we should focus on and should make a priority. Not today, then when? As soon as possible. If whatever the Salah is in your area that's coming in, try to make it coming in. Start there. Don't worry about yesterday, the day before that, the day before that. Worry about today and right now, and start that connection with Allah. And I promise you won't.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I like that idea. I think
Allah is always available to us.
Well, maybe we could put up an image about the Salat. Let's see what we can do with that.
Maybe next website. Do you have a Salat website? Prayersinislam.com. Do we have a Salat website?
Yeah, we do have that. Let me see if I can pull it up. That's the question. All it's giving me is a hard time. Yeah. Oh, maybe this one. All right. Anyway, it's telling us about the 5 daily prayers. See if we make it. I can't make it go up. Okay, now we got it. And that's what we do in Salat. We put our heads down just like the prophets used to do. And this is a really good thing. Inshallah, we can talk about that in another program. Say what we always say when we're going off the air. Tell us.
Get guided and stay guided. Guide us, TV.
Aha! Yep, that is what we say. So everybody stay tuned, stay guided with Guidance. Assalamu alaikum.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life.
Guide Us التلفزيونية الفضائية
The programs and the channel are all dedicated to true faith, what it is, why we need it, how we use it in today's world, in simple English, 24 hours a day, right here on Guidance TV.